Whoa.
Yeah, man. Joe outdid himself with that one.
That was so sick. I love that cut. On the beats, that was so cool. You like recolored some stuff. That was awesome, man.
I
That
recolored
was
it
so
to fit her style. There are the
yeah, that was so cool. Like great job on that edit. That was really, really
Thanks.
rad.
But I think the video you sent me for this one is a shorter version of the original one you had, right? For the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I kind of recut it a
You
bit.
recut it, yeah. Because I think you have what's the girl's name?
Pinky?
I think you added a little
I did add a little something.
That little something. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I don't think that was in the other one. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. No.
Spinning and was that you dressed up?
No, I have a buddy who I used to work with who was kind enough to put on the whole Mary costume and just go for
it. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, that wasn't in the other one that you sent me. Was it a year ago when you came on? I was like,
yeah. I actually have two friends who I got to dress up as Mary around Hollywood for me, and while I filmed stuff.
Oh.
But how's it going? Thanks for having me on. I was stoked to talk to you guys again.
Yeah, we are really happy to have you back, Pat, because we kind of promised you when we had you on the first time, when we talked about the first two issues, that once we watched it all, read it all, we'd have you back on to talk about it. And yeah, here we are to talk about the release of the trade paperback, actually.
That's right. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. And you were talking a little bit about this with us off air, and kind of show it to the people if you don't mind. Look at this. It's a thick boy, man. That's 6 issues, and they're all kind of oversized issues, right? They're more than 22 pages, I think, each issue.
No, they are 22 actually. I was like, kind of when I was working with my editor, he was like 22 pages. So I was like, okay, I'll do 22s, but it is 6 issues, and then we added some. We had a ton of variant covers from like such cool artists. So like, there's a nice cover gallery that has everybody. Oh yeah, Cyber Nosferatu, Robert Samelin.
They go on and on. Yeah, I clipped so many of them, but yeah, it's hard not to.
The art that people sent in for this is just like outrageous. Like everybody did Pinky in such a cool, different way. You know,
I'm not a variant guy really, but like, goddamn, they're all so gorgeous. You know what I mean? I definitely dip in.
Yeah, I kind of went overboard with the variants, honestly, but
I mean, I don't think it's a hard sell, right? It's a it's a fun design. The character is a great design with that bat with the axe into it. You know, the pink ski mask, the bustier.
There you go.
Yeah, look at this. You know what's crazy about this is a real axe and this is real barbed wire. Like the one on the shelf is like a fake one, but for some reason I wanted a real one, and so I got a bunch of these made, and now I just have a bunch of these. So
do you bring those to cons with you and stuff?
I don't. I bring the fake one to cons. The real one is for like if anyone tries to break in my house or something.
Because you could probably get into some trouble if you were walking around.
I know. I kind of thought about it, and I was like, I better reconsider. That's not going to fly.
Yeah, Sequential Geek. The book is sick as F, and you can the trade is coming out in August, I believe Pat said.
Yeah,
and
August 7th.
But you could get the issues still from when it was published beforehand. But I'd say maybe wait for the trade. Help Pat.
This is the way to read it now. Get the trade, and like it's. I never meant for it to be issues, honestly. I kind of just did that because I was anxious to put something out, and Kickstarter was available, and I kind of wanted to just test the waters and see what people thought. And, it was good. I got a lot of good feedback, and it kind of kept me going. But this is the way to read it. You got to read the full story in one sitting. It's just, this is the way it was meant to be, And I finally got to sit down and read it all. And like, man, I was kind of impressed actually that we pulled it off. I think there's like a cool evolution when you see the 6 issues all together, how the art kind of changes. My writing gets better as I go, because this is my first book. So you can kind of feel the improvements slowly happening, but it is all still there. I think issue 1 works. It's just, I had to get some confidence and kind of play with the medium a little bit. And so you do kind of see it change.
Your first issue is good, man. Like you do, I'd say it's like definitely Paul Verhoeven or Frank Miller-esque, the way you kind of lay out exposition in the first issue, and then after that you get right into the story. And what's cool is you kind of got like a slasher thing going with it, but for the most part, it's a really, really kind of cool heist story in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I,
But it's set up like that.
right. I love horror, so I was trying to make it a horror story, but it actually turned out to be uh, like a crime story. Uh, so like not what I was anticipating. I thought I wanted to lean more into horror, but I think the way that all the different storylines kind of come together, it does feel like a crime kind of heist thing, which I did lean into as well, but I always kind of wanted to put a little more horror in there.
I like Pinky's journey though, and like in this book, she kind of metaphorically pops her cherry, you know what I mean, and becomes kind of the slasher that she wants to be. So, like maybe in the next book, because you do hint at her and Mary hitting Hollywood, maybe you could go full slasher with that one. You know what I mean?
Oh
or
man,
maybe a little more.
Yeah, you're all right. We can talk about it, but yeah, I wrote Popscars Volume 2. I have like a full script for it. Um, and I really like it. It's not ready yet, but I really like it. And I do kind of pick up on, the first book is so much about that one thing about Pinky killing Harry, and like, not to spoil it, but like, what happens when you get what you want? What does that do to you, and where do you go from there? So I think where Pinky does go is, it's probably a little darker than what we saw in the first volume, because I think the first volume she's still, when she takes off the mask, kind of vulnerable and like still kind of wrestling with, being like a powerhouse. And I think by the end of it, she's all there. So I think people need to watch out. But I am very excited about continuing the story, the characters. I love the characters. I think where it goes is unexpected. I pick up with a character that I think most people probably wrote off, and like how I use them is really fun, and it adds a lot. It feels like it almost resets it while it's continuing to move forward, which is kind of cool.
It's a character from the first arc that is kind of written off. Oh man.
Yeah, I wonder if you guys have any guesses on who kind of somebody steps up big in the next volume, and they become like. I have art for them already. They have a very cool design that is I'm excited about. I might have shared something with you guys actually.
You had a little teaser at the end of the trade.
Yes, I do have that, but I'm talking about. I have a whole new kind of character that's from volume 1, but has a kind of rebirth a bit, and it's going to just make volume 2 very cool to kind of dip into and keep going, because I didn't really. I had the idea for volume 2 when I was writing the first one. I always kind of knew, okay, I want to do more, but this new character, who's an old character, just became a butterfly and opened up the story in a whole new world. And like, it's going to be really interesting to see. I'm excited. I wish I could share more, but I don't want to get too ahead of the first volume, but volume 2 is going to be sick.
And that's what you're going to be actively working on. Is that the next book you're going to be putting out?
Part 2? I have the dinos that we're working on, Andy and I. We're just coloring now. We're just gonna. Oh yes, the Jurassic Parkour 4. We're coloring this book, and we have maybe 30 pages left. It's turning out so good. Like the people that back the Kickstarter, they're getting like such a kick-ass story. Like it became, we had the first issue for a few years, but when we this new stuff, man, like it's like such a good, fun book, and I just can't believe we kind of pulled it off. And I think people are really going to like it. It's like I think we probably could have done a Kickstarter for just the first part of it, but I think the fact that you get the whole book, it's such a good story. So that's coming next, and then my wife and I are working on a horror book, like a straight horror book. It's her idea. I'm just kind of helping morph it into a comic book, and we have a female artist who's doing all the art from Italy, Giuseppino Prosser, and she's doing just like some incredible layouts, really, really like fashionable character design, and that's going to be kind of a book about karma, and it's like set in the 80s in New York City. It's very gritty, very cool. So I'm excited about that one, but I'm just kind of assisting with that one. The next, so Popscars is, what I'm working on next. I do kind of have a Popscars spinoff kind of playing with, which is just like in its infancy, but it's also something I'm so excited about. And I'm thinking about a way to put it out that's going to be very kind of cool, because I want to do a hardcover version of this someday, because I have notebooks of like all my art and like layouts that I didn't share with Santi, but like I storyboarded this book before I even kind of gave it to him. And I think including a lot of that stuff would be really cool. But also in the hardcover version, I want to include a spin-off idea I have. So I think those two things, volume 2 and the spin-off, are going to be kind of my like main focuses next.
Okay. This book that you're doing with your wife, is that going to be you guys publishing that through Punch as well?
I think we're going to do Punch. I don't know if it's going to be with Godhood as well, but I kind of am going to see. It's kind of new. I haven't really shared it with them too much. They kind of know I'm working on it, and we'll see if it kind of is in their wheelhouse. But I think it's going to be. I like that it's just like a straight horror book, because I think that could end up going anywhere. I think another publisher would be interested in something like that, and it's just like a just contained story. There's no more after or before. It's kind of just like it drops you in and gives you this like really twisted karmic story that I'm excited about. I think we're still a ways away, but we're like 25 pages in, like fully colored.
Wow. Well, it sounds dope. I can't wait to check it out, man. Like, keep us in the loop about that.
I will. Yeah, I haven't really shared anything much about it yet. We're calling it Malignant. And yeah, I will definitely hit you guys up when I have something. Maybe my wife and I could come on and talk about it if she will get on with me. But I think it's fun. It's fun to work on. Just sometimes we just throw on a horror movie and kick some ideas around and talk about the script, and it's cool how it's just developing.
Hell yeah, man. Sounds like an awesome book. So yeah, dude, Popscars. This thing is a wild trek, man. Like, I really got to hand it to you guys. And I didn't like, you guys don't hold back with the kind of really traumatic things happening to characters. Like, I was reading and thought that like some stuff was going to play out way different, but like there's some kind of, and I like that, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people kind of play it safe, and your book is kind of like, no, because like actually none of these people are innocent. Like, you can kind of see that this guy is a little less, guilty than them, but like still a little fucker, you know what I mean? And I kind of like that about the book.
Yeah, I think everybody's bad. Everybody's a little bad and a little good, but I really wanted to, when you're doing an indie book where you can kind of like take it further than if Spider-Man or Ninja Turtles or whatever, like why not take it as far as you can go comfortably, like I kind of, there's some stuff that goes way further, like stuff I'm reading from like some mangas and stuff like that kind of push the envelope like way beyond what I did. But I thought I pushed it. I think I pushed it as far as I could have personally, like, and felt good about it. It was a weird fine line to walk, where it was like, what's too much here? And when is it going to be like, oh, the audience is going to get to this part and just think this is corny, or think this is too heavy, So it was like, sometimes I wrestled with that a lot, and I felt like we did find a good like balance. I think at the end I kind of tried to hit it a little harder, but man, it was hard. It was like a tightrope walking, because I wanted it to be grounded in a street story. I wanted it to have real consequences, real repercussions. And, I don't really like to get into real issues, but like, I've been out in Hollywood and I've seen the movie industry, and it kind of pisses me off. That's why it does piss me off, how it's run and how people take advantage of people. And, when I was working there, I felt that very passionately. I was like a fire that like, I was just so frustrated and angry, And so this book kind of is just like a big middle finger to that, and I wanted it to be like rough and not like not like a soft little middle finger, like a double middle, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to go a little hard. I think it needed to, because otherwise I think, you know, Hollywood just gets away with a lot, and I think they don't get called out as much. And, you know, they have award shows for themselves and celebrate them, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's like, all right, let's, like, you guys are, some of you are terrible people. Like, you know, I don't want to clump everybody into that, because I have amazing friends that do stuff in the industry still, you know, but we know who we're talking about, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, in the book, you know the completely, like, kind of who the one guy is definitely based on, you know what I mean? Harry, like, you don't pull any punches, but I like that in a way, kind of at the beginning, like, you almost make him sympathetic, but like the more you read, like, there's the more disgusting he becomes, you know, like,
yeah,
you played it really well, you know what I mean? Like with the.
Thank you. I didn't want to make him like the obvious bad guy at first. I wanted to let him become like more like disgusting, and, you know, I wanted you to dislike him more and more as you went. But at first, he's just like some Hollywood dude, you know, and like he's some, you know, kind of scumbag producer, whatever, you know. But everyone loves his stuff, and he just kind of operates and, you know, navigates it. But I think by the end of it, yeah, I want you to like hate him, because he's awful, you know, he's trash. And yeah, I did base that off someone, but like I think if we all closed our eyes and like imagined what like a sleazy Hollywood movie producer looks like, I think, you know, you get like one kind of image in your mind. I'm not, you know, I think we all go to one place. I don't know how that stereotype, I don't know where that came from. Like, I guess it's not a stereotype because it's true, but yeah, I think, you know, we all kind of think of that. So I kind of just leaned into that a little, you know.
I actually found it. June's Diamond Preview solicit for Popscars. It's on page 358. It's under Godhood Comics. The code is JUN 241705. So people can go hit the Diamond Previews and order that through your comic shop. Have them pre-order it.
Yes, order this book, really, because I've been working on this for 5 years, the comic, and then all the years before to make the short film. So I've been kind of in this world for a long time. So to finally have the book, I just hope people check it out and read it. And, you know,
August 7th is what it's listed for.
I want to hear about it. I want to hear people read it and say, this part sucks. This part was bad. I like this character. This character I wish died. I want to hear, like, you know, what, like just some interaction on like what people think of it. Because, you know, you do this stuff in isolation a lot. Like I've never even got to meet Santi, and we've talked about this book for years. You know what I mean? So I someday I think him and I would have to do a con together and do a signing. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, well, this part was rad. I just want to let you know that.
Yes, yes. This was, you know, this was like a contentious piece in the book. You know, like Phil got to that scene, and this was like the scene. I always said, if you get to this scene and if you like it, you will love the rest of the book. If you don't like this so far, just put it down, because you won't like the rest of the book. But originally, that scene was very different. You know, her weapon was covered in maple syrup and glass. I had this whole other setup, and like how that rippled out was like very different. And making that like a couple little changes, it changed the whole book. Like originally, Pinky kind of gets the upper hand, and it was like too easy for her. And then like making a couple changes kind of changed everything. But it's funny, it was like still the same story, but it just made it her journey more difficult. But yeah, that was like that gave me trouble with printers. Some printers in the US won't print that. Some printers in China won't print that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So like I didn't even know what I was getting myself into.
So where do people get all their Not Safe for Work books printed?
I mean, some places do, but the ones that I hit up were like, oh, you know, at first they're like, yeah, we'll print your book. And then like they finally go to do the proofs, and they're like, oh, we can't print this. I'm like, oh man, you just wasted like 2 weeks of my time. But yeah, I got rejected from a couple printers because of that page.
Wow. Wow. It's pretty tame compared to some other stuff out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was pretty tame too. I think it's just like the weapon of choice.
It's more funny than explicit or.
Yeah, it could have been way harder. Let's be honest. That could have, gone in a way different direction. I'm kind of glad it didn't. I think that's like a good moment how it is. But
yeah, we got Johnny and I love it. We both got a good laugh, like
yeah. Improvised weaponry is always fun, I love to see where people go with it, and yeah.
I'm a big improvised weapon guy. I have a short film I made called Household Weapons. I just love what you can do with what's around. And I think we started to see that a lot more in movies. People kind of caught on to, oh, that's cool. So I see it whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, household weapons.
Did you I noticed in the background I know you had some action figures made.
Yeah.
Did you do one that has the dildo as her weapon?
Oh yeah, it's this one. Yeah, it's this one.
Put it up to the camera, man.
Oh hell yeah! Look at that
right there. There it is. Are you all sold out of those, or is there any left?
Heavy Metal Drummer did this. I have a ton of those still. I am selling them. They're kind of pricey because I hired 6 different artists to do all the different card backs.
The card, yeah.
Yeah, I have a stack of 20 of them over there. They're super sick. They each have different weapons, and I kind of got them because I wanted them. And if I sell some, awesome. But now I just have my own bootleg toys.
Do you just sell them at cons, or can they go on your website to grab those? Or
right now, just at cons. At godhoodcomics.com, you can pre-order the book, but I will eventually get some toys up there for sale. But yeah, right now it's just at cons. Or if someone wants to hit me up on Instagram and says, "Oh, I want a toy," I'm happy to, sell something too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're sick. They're really cool.
Yeah, those blister packs there, I saw as you were posting them. They're pretty good.
All right, hold on one sec, because it's pretty cool to see. Hold on.
Yeah. I remember when he was posting that on Instagram, I was like, oh yeah. And you got, like you said, every blister pack is a different artist.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So that's your setup for cons and stuff.
How dope is that?
Yeah, spinner rack for the figures. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. And how many different figures are there?
What?
How many different figures do you have?
There's 6 different ones.
6 different ones. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, you got some Godzilla back there.
Yeah. I think that's Shin Godzilla because the tail's extra long.
Extra long, yeah.
Yeah, I love these. Oh, you're talking about Godzilla?
Yeah, your Shin Godzilla back there, right?
I think that one's actually Godzilla 92 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I just went to Japan and I just bought I was into Godzilla before, but now I'm really into Godzilla.
Nice.
Yeah.
So 6 different figures, man. That's a nice little setup. The little spinner rack. So that's what you put on your table for cons?
Yeah. It's really cool. I wish that I could sell them for cheaper, but they're so, and I'm getting them made in South Africa. So it costs a lot to ship, John Wasser, he did this one.
Yeah.
I love it.
What's cool is I got to work with people who didn't get to do covers, variant covers. So I got to have a bunch of cool artists that I was into who I wish did covers, kind of jump on and do these.
Yeah.
And they turned out really sick. It's actually, the design is from, my sister got me this for Christmas one year. It's this is the original one. It's a Pinky toy with a VHS case.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah.
She slides in here. Two brothers 1979 makes these on Instagram.
Very cool.
And so for Christmas one year, we both got each other this custom toys randomly because I got our dogs as toys. So because she did this Halloween costume, Reservoir Dogs, and it's the cover with all of them. So it was kind of cool. We gave each other. He worked on both of our Christmas presents without telling us.
So he had to keep it secret from. Yeah, that's cool.
That VHS case actually brings me to a question I was going to ask. Is there any chance that you may be doing a Swamp Shark graphic novel, kind of like the movie, but like the story of the movie just as a comic? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
there is. I have chunks of it written. I'd have to put it together, but this is kind of like I was talking about spinoffs. Like, I would love to do like a Swamp Shark spinoff, and I just think there's so much cool stuff to do with that. Like we didn't get enough Swamp Shark in the book because I just had to keep it moving. It was hard to kind of want to take too much time to go backwards. I wanted to keep driving forward. So I do think at some point, like going backwards and kind of learning about the shooting of Swamp Shark and stuff like that, I think would be really sick. Well, and because there's so many sequels, you could kind of do a lot of weird, fun stuff.
I love the shark iconography because like it's which you don't realize until you get to the end of the book, is it was all like subtle foreshadowing. Well, not so subtle foreshadowing, but you didn't realize it until you get to the end, and you're just kind of like, wow. So like, yeah, sharks the whole time. That's pretty awesome. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, the ending is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, that's like the big thing is like that's kind of why I had to do the book, was like once I kind of connected all those dots, I was like, oh man, like if I don't do this, like it would be a shame. It would be a shame. So like that's something I had to bake in. And there's kind of a cool shot in issue 2 of her mom being eaten by the shark. Yeah. That kind of is like, you know, when you see it and then you check, man. I remember when Santi sent me the inks for that, I was just like, what? Like, what? I felt like I didn't even ask for this. You know what I mean? It was like he gave me something so far beyond. But I think that page is really cool when you get to the end and what actually happens. You know, that's like the fake thing, and you know, it was fun to kind of parallel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I thought it was really fun the way you did it. But like, yeah, like this shot in particular, I was kind of like, I wouldn't mind seeing like an actual comic about like the evil swamp shark, and you know, it being like dead serious, you know, like one of the movies.
Yeah, like a straight up horror movie. It's the first, you know, and either black and white even would be cool. But like, kind of, you know, how I always saw the first swamp shark was like Creature from the Black Lagoon. You know, I would have done my ripoff of that, and that would have been super fun. So I think, you know, if people get into Popscars and they like are, you know, asking for more, I would love to keep doing more, because I think there's a lot that could still be built out. I feel like the volume 1 is perfect on its own, but man, there's a lot more fun that could be had with just these characters in this kind of like this Hollywood world. It's not exactly too realistic. It is, but it's not like, there's room to expand it, I think, for sure.
Well, it's gruff and it's in your face. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Patrick Kidlon. You know, it's the kind of books that like they, you know, like grindhouse type stuff that like you put stuff in there to purposely to affect you. You know what I mean? The story in the book is meant to be poignant. You know what I mean? And like, sure, you go a little over the top, but at the same time, like I like the aggression. I like you know, like Death Wish 3, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that like this book kind of embraces like that kind of revenge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And speaking of Patrick, you actually got a nice little pull quote, right? That you threw on the cover from Patrick.
Yeah, I'm a huge Joe Church fan, and Patrick was nice enough to give me a very cool quote. Comic with a sense of place, sense of purpose, and sense of humor, rare and transgressive, deserves to be infamous. What? That's a nice quote. You know, that reads nice, and it was just like, you know, kind of an honor to have him do that for me, because I'm just a big fan of his comic work, a big fan of his band. I've seen his band a bunch of times, and I still listen to them like all the time. They just get me going. It's that energy, you know. I feed off that. I even like ripped off his lines for page 2 of the book. You know, there's I forget the exact song, but it's, you know, talking about, it might be Weed Pin, but you know, burn this place to the ground. You know, there's
we're talking about the working at the pharmaceutical the lab.
Yeah, the Weed Pin. Yeah, it is Weed Pin. Yeah. yeah, I just hear that, and the energy of that is what I wanted to put into the comic. So I just stole that line. Sorry, dude, but thank you as well. Yeah, and just put it in there because I was feeding off it, and it was like the vibe that I really wanted to kind of harbor in this story. It was this energy and kind of rage that their music has. So very cool to have him give me a quote for the cover. I appreciate that a lot.
The design of Pinky, man, like how long did it take you to come up with that? And like you really nailed something with that. She is a killer IP, you know what I mean? I could see like bands trying to reach out to you to use her, you know what I mean? So
thanks, man. I had a lot of the other pieces first. I had Mary, I had Mika, I had Heath, I had the Hollywood World, I had the Thumbtacks. But yeah, Pinky. Once I found Pinky, that was like, oh, okay, like I have something here. I need to keep going. I was just sketching. I was working at this Hollywood talk show as a camera operator, and in between breaks, I would just be in the back sketching in a book, drawing, writing, sketching. And I started drawing Spider-Man with high heels. Mm-hmm. And I've said this before, but Spider-Man with high heels. And like, as soon as I found that, I just kept carving away at that. What is that? Because like, there's, if I said who are the 3 most iconic comic characters, I bet we all pick almost the same ones. I would pick Spider-Man, I'd pick Batman and Superman. Probably those are the 3 most iconic designs. You know what I mean? And like, what is it about some of that? Like trying to pinpoint why those designs work. What is it about it? And I think, the mask with the white eyes, I always love. And so I just started drawing her, and then the ski mask showed up and the corset and all that stuff. But the Spider-Man in high heels had like fishnets and stuff on too. And then Santi added the ponytail. I didn't have her in a ponytail. So I actually, that's why she gets it ripped out. Cause I was like, I don't like the ponytail. I'm ripping this thing out. So I actually ripped it out in the story, and then I regretted it. So then she gets it back.
Yeah. Because that hair is great to draw because it adds a lot of movement and action.
He was right. He was right. I was wrong. It adds a lot. Yeah, she needed the hair. I tried to get my way, and I did, and it was fine. But I thought his design with the hair was much better.
Hair, trench coats, capes. I think that's why a lot of comic characters have that cape, because it's in the wind. It's more dynamic. Yeah, exactly.
It adds a little more to the silhouette. Yeah. But Pinky's. I feel lucky that I have her, that she's mine. I'm like, if I don't make any other cool characters in my life, I made Pinky, and I'm like cool with that.
Yeah, it's good. And you kept it simple, calling her Pinky. She's in pink. I mean,
yeah.
You didn't overthink it. You stuck. It was a great design, a great name that's easy to remember,
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, that cover's sick. That cover was my Mortal Kombat cover. If you could imagine Sub-Zero holding up someone's skull, that was my just kind of reference to that.
Yeah, so much good art for this book, man, and the book is just so sick. Like honestly, I'm hella happy that it's coming out in a trade too, because like that's my preferred reading. So like I'm just gonna, I can't wait to get it.
So
that's what I like to read too, man.
Without going into any great detail, we know it was a long road to get here, to get this trade put out. We won't go into any details because, anyway, all those issues have been resolved. Now you have the trade. How happy and satisfying is it to actually have it in the solicits? It's ready to go. People can pre-order it.
We have our printer set up. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about getting this in the mail and finally like looking at it and reading it all through, where I was like, man, like this is like sick. Like I did it. And it was like so long ago that I set out to do this. I almost think 2017 was like when I first started designing characters for Popscars and kind of figuring out what the story was. So like that's so long ago, that's like a lifetime ago. So to finally hold a book, and from all like the notebook sketches and all like the development and the short film and just all of it, it feels good to get to this point to kind of now share this story. I think some people might pick up an issue or two and maybe they fall off or whatever. But I think if you get this and read it, I think, I don't know, man, it's different. It's different. Like, I think people are looking for fresh stuff, and this one is, it's like a lot of stuff that you might be familiar with, but it also is brand new and feels very exciting and raw. But yeah, reading it through was so cool. Just felt like, yeah, I like pat myself on the back, like, yeah, you did it, good job, dude.
Nothing wrong with being proud of something you've created.
Nothing
wrong with that at all.
No, it's good. It's just a long, this thing baked and was in the oven for forever. It's ready, so I think now people should, eat this up. And I think I'm hoping that if like the next stuff I do is quicker, because I've already had time to bake this, and now I think I can move through the next parts a little faster.
Let's say the next arc for Popscar or whatever's related, the next chapter, are you going to do floppies? Are you going to go more the graphic novel route, or?
Yeah, I think in general, I think I'm done with floppies, unless, I see Richard Morgan do amazing success on Kickstarter with floppies, because he like built them up over time. He just kept building it. And man, his Kickstarters crush. Like, if I did one for now, even for Popscars, I think it'd be way less than if I continued it and built it over time. So, maybe I think in my mind, if you go to Kickstarter with floppies, that's the way to go. I don't think go to Kickstarter with graphic novels. But I think in general, I want to move towards graphic novels. I think I always like longer form storytelling. And I think breaking the story up into issues, to me, it throws everything off. And then I have to rely on people to go back and pick it up and check it. I'd rather just them get the whole thing at once and enjoy it like a film. You sit down and read it in one sitting, and you just got to go through this whole world. It's hard when a whole month goes by, and then there's 1,000 books that come out in between years. Yeah. And then when you pick it up, you forget what happened before. So I want to just do graphic novels and give you the whole shebang, That's why I think the Dinos is going to be cool, because you're going to get just like a brand new, like nice over 100-page story that has like such a nice arc to it, I think you miss that arc when you go into issues.
Oops.
Yeah. Man,
the art for this is turning out so good. Like, I just can't believe it. It does feel like a true long lost, like Saturday morning cartoon. It's like wild. Like, the art team is like, they're doing such a good job on it.
I don't remember, how many pages did you say the story was going to be for Parkour?
It's like 110.
110 about. Okay,
yeah.
So it's a nice little graphic novel.
But man, it feels really good. It does feel like a mini, like, entire season of a cartoon. Because it does feel like it has breaking points. Like, the part 1 is like the pilot, then issue 2 is almost broken up into 2 villains, and then the third part is like this big kind of climax. But it's cool. It's turning out really, really cool.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man! Can't wait to get that one too.
Yeah, that's going to be coming soon. I think we said July, but I'm pretty sure it's like August probably, because we're still wrapping things up and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be, and then we'll put that out too. I think once we fulfill the Kickstarter, that's a Godhood book as well, so that's going to come out maybe cool. Yeah, maybe around Christmas, maybe next year. I don't know how we're going to try to rush things, because like, if you want to solicit stuff, it's 4 months in advance. So like books that you're soliciting now are coming out in October or whatever. Yeah,
because Popscars is in June solicit and it drops in August. So yeah,
I'm excited, man. I have maybe a couple signings at like some LA comic shops around the launch, around the release. So that would be really, that's cool. I was talking with Golden Apple to do something, and Comic Bug. But like the local shops have all been very cool about either having me out or carrying the book,
Nice. Hell yeah.
So do you have any cons coming up for when the the trade paperback drops. Do you have something lined up for when you get those suckers so you can hit?
Man, I hope I could figure something out. Right now, I don't. You know, I don't know what my con plan is because it's hard to do full-time job, comic books and development and all this stuff on the side. Like, you know, and then just like paying for normal life and stuff. It's expensive to travel, and I would love to do like a nice little con circuit, but we'll see. I hope that I get to a couple. I know that Heroes Con just happened, and man, that looked so fun. It was like all my Instagram friends in one spot, just like celebrating each other's comics. Like, man, I really wanted to be there. I was feeling like envious that I missed out on that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was going to be so sick, you know?
Yeah, Kevin was saying the exact same thing on Saturday when he was on. He's like, "Oh,
I missed it."
He kept seeing posts, and he's like,
"I know,
bastards."
I know. It looked good. It was like what a great lineup of everybody. And like, you know, I think I did LA Comic Con, and that was so sick. I had a great time. But like the people, the audience that goes to the bigger ones is a lot of cosplay, and they don't really buy a lot of indie stuff, is what I noticed. You know, so like I think these smaller conventions that are kind of really propping indie books up at the top, that's what I want to be a part of. I think that's more kind of fun, and I think being around a lot of the other creators is really sick. You know, when I did LA Comic Con is when I met Kevin, and we like went out for dinners afterwards, and it was just like super fun to hang out with like Eli and the Cosmic Lion guys and stuff. You know, so that was the best part about the conventions, was like meeting the creators and like swap books and like hang out and talk comics, you know.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and Heroes Con, man, I think that one it's gaining traction. I think it's becoming a lot of creators' favorite convention to go to.
Yeah, I had no idea really about it. I'm still kind of like, I only know the bigger ones, and I haven't really done them. So that's one I would love to try to get to next year for sure. Yeah, I would like to get out and sign some books and, you know, actually sell them to people. It's not as fun when you're just like hoping that it sells and you just hear about it later. It's so much better to talk about the book and the process, and, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we had you on to talk about Popscars the first time, I think that weekend you had a bunch of signings for when issue 1 dropped. And
yeah, that was fun. It was kind of like a whirlwind, you know, just like trying to, when you do this stuff, you have to like stir up the buzz and get out there, and, you know, so that was fun. It's fun to have comics shops like embrace you, you know.
Didn't you have someone dressed up as Pinky for when you went and did those signings, or am I mistaken?
No, I didn't. I wish I did. No, I think though there's going to be a Pinky cosplay happening very soon. Someone who bought the book at LA Comic Con and was super rad, and she's like loved the character, and so she said she did a photo shoot recently in Vegas. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm like very interested and very excited.
Curious to see how that turned out.
Yeah, because I think a Pinky cosplay is like, that's too good. She sent me the bat she made, and the bat she made was like identical to the ones I have. So I have a good feeling. I think it's going to be really sick.
Yeah.
I think, you know, somebody's going to see this and think, oh, this is an indie movie or something. You know, like this is something it's low budget. You know, it's street level. I think I saw the trailer for Maxine, and I think Maxine has some vibes.
Yeah,
Popscars a bit, just the setting and stuff like that, and some of the like cinematography. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot more to it. I think, you know, it's the book, but there's the world and the character. I think the character in live action would be so badass. Not that I need that to happen. I don't, you know, it's okay. I'm totally cool with just the book, but how badass would it be to see like a super gritty, like no holds barred, like really like handheld, like Popscars movie that's just like filmed on the sidewalks, you know, like that would be so sick.
Well,
we'll
I mean,
see.
you could.
You talking like Trauma style, like that gritty and on the sidewalk?
Like Trauma, but like a notch above. Like
Trauma, but serious. Like because Trauma doesn't really take anything seriously.
No, and the cinematography in Trauma, like it's too video feel. It feels like even when it's filmed, it felt like too video VHS-y. And I like some of that stuff, but I think like shoot it with like a really nice lens and make it like just one lens, one little camera, and like get in the action, and like not a lot of cutting. Like let the camera like find it, That's how I would do it. Because that's kind of how I did the short film, was just like grab the camera, no sound guy, just like go on the street and like let's get the shot. So I think embracing some of that feeling to it would be really cool.
Oh. Man, that'd be awesome. Yeah, like if they just filmed it with no audio and then like added like do a murder drone. Like, have you ever checked out any of those old murder drone movies from the 80s? Like where they just, because that's how they filmed it.
And, where they would dub everything after?
They dub everything after and then put like in this really heavy synth scores. And that's how it got the name Murder Drone.
Oh, that's sick. Pinky has a mask. Like, why do you need to film her talking or like record her audio there? Like add it later. I love like old Italian movies, and that's what they would do, is dub everything. And I don't know. I don't mind that stuff. That could be where it's kind of feel like a low budgety vibe. But I think that could be very cool. Some like low budget, $1 million, just like shoot it over like 3 weeks,
Well,
I don't know how we do the ending though. That's the part.
Yeah.
How do you pull off that ending? I made a shark short film.
Yeah.
Like with an animatronic shark, pool shark. So
Yeah.
But like I got a pool shark tattoo actually. But yeah, I think you'd have to find a way to do like pool shark with Harry. That's the only way. I don't think maybe you lean into it being a little cheesy, but I don't know. That would be the toughest part, is filming that end scene, I think.
Or making it Sci-Fi Channel looking. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or just tweak the story for like, instead of sharks, you could do like dogs or something, just to make it easier, so you don't have to, because you can always get dogs to do a lot of crazy stuff. You get raw meat and just let them go at it, right?
Yeah. Swamp dogs.
Swamp dogs. Yeah.
No, I want to challenge somebody to pull it off. If they're going to make the movie, I want them to do the ending and see how they pull it off, That's the rough part.
Just go to Universal and like devise a plan to steal the fucking Spielberg.
You know what's crazy, man? I was on that old ride where like they drained it, and like just like the shark, it was just like laying there in the dirt. I kind of felt bad for it, because that was such a like iconic ride, and there he is, just like washed up.
Cover for an emo album, man. Like,
yeah, I have a picture of him because I was like, oh man, this is rough for Jaws.
Yeah, seen better days, eh?
Yeah, it was cool though. It's cool to like sneak back there and check it out. How often you get to see like the broken down like Jaws ride,
Yeah. Well, Jaws was never, never worked properly in the first place. So. Yeah. That was part of the problem.
Yeah. Love Jaws though. What a great movie.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah. I didn't take too much of Jaws. I think people see shark and they think Jaws. I didn't really pull too much Jaws in this. That was all pull shark. I felt like that scratched my Jaws itch,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of got that Swamp Shark was a lot like Jason Voorhees, but like just with the shark, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, for sure. Jason Voorhees, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jason Voorhees, did you guys see that new slasher movie where it's that from the killer's perspective? It has like kind of a longer title.
I've heard about it, but I don't know. Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it's like they shot, which I think anyone who likes slashers has probably thought of this before, but I don't know why no one's done it. But like they shot the whole movie from like the killer's perspective. I haven't checked it out, but it definitely is intriguing to me. I like that idea.
Like from their POV, it's kind of like hardcore Henry, but like it's like a
not like that. It's kind of like behind him. They kind of film behind him and just follow him as he like wanders through the beautiful nature, and then he like finds someone to kill, and then he just like does that again, I guess. But it's just a little different take on a slasher, you know. You don't really see what they're up to in between the kills, you know.
I wonder if like the score is done differently. So instead of the score being super menacing, it's light.
It's all lovely. Yeah,
lovely. Yeah, you know.
I know there's probably because he's like walking through like the beautiful woods in the fall. Like, you know, I wonder if, you know, they lean into that at all.
Because if you're from the victim's perspective, it's horrifying. But if it's from the killer, it's like it's something that you find beautiful and
enjoyment out of.
Enjoyment, yeah. So, you know, like I wonder if they adapt the score to give like that kind of vibe and sensation off from it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to check it out before it's out of theaters. That seems like it could be a fun one, you know.
Okay, it's in theaters right now.
I think so, or it was just in theaters recently.
Someone was talking about it on socials, and I can't remember what the name was, but someone had mentioned it and said it was interesting.
It's troublesome that none of us know the name though, and then we've come across it. We all kind of know like what we're talking about, but we don't remember the name. Maybe
slasher first person slasher.
I'm pretty sure it's the one that Stephen King just said was great, right? Like I just don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Somebody out there knows, and they'll check it out or tell us that it was crap or awesome. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't come up when I write it right away. Horror movie from the point of view of the killer.
You would think that would be the first thing that come up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I didn't mean to take us down a dead end.
I thought it would come up like as soon as you do a Google search, you know, like you say, it's the first thing.
Yeah, you know what's been happening in my Google is like AI. It gives me like an AI thing. Like the first thing that comes up is like what AI thinks I'm looking for. That's
that's pretty creepy.
Just on my phone, it's like if I do the browser thing, it's just like the AI tells me before any links come up.
In a violent nature, is it?
That's what it's called, In a Violent Nature.
Okay, I found it. In a Violent Nature. There we go.
Violent Nature, because he's in nature and there's violence. Yeah.
I know how to Google.
Yeah, you did it.
I'll have to check that out when it hits video on demand. Since you said it's in theaters right now, right?
Maybe it'll take too long though once it isn't in theaters anymore. A movie like that usually hits VOD pretty quick.
Very, very quick, yeah. So yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I think Maxine looks pretty cool. Those are kind of like what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, Ty's always been spot on with his horror stuff, though. I'm glad that he's really caught on, though. I've liked him since House of the Devil.
House of the Devil is so sick. That's like a trip movie because it truly feels like a 70s film.
Yeah, he nailed it. Like, he hit that like John Carpenter nail on the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the film stock even that he used or something like lends to you like falling into that old timey kind of horror film. I really like that one too. That's like a surprise how cool that was. And then I thought X was really fun. You know, Boogie Nights meets like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Mm-hmm. That's like a smart combo, I think.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Well, I like that he's kept that style of making his films look old as hell in like the time period he's going for. I think that like that's a pretty good thing. I like that when directors and like they're doing it with shows now too. They actually give the project a visual style. You know what I mean? That's kind of important to me. And like a lot of movies and stuff, they still just go with bland, you know, visual style. You know, just regular. And like I like when people punch it up. You know, try to make it look.
Yeah, give it kind of its own visual identity, right? Like,
actually, a lot of those A24 guys are like, I know Joe doesn't like the movie, but like, Witch, like the guy nailed like the look he was going for with it. It's a beautiful look.
Doesn't like the movie. I like The Witch. What, you don't like The Witch?
Nah,
He groaned. He went, oh.
I found it long. It was long.
I really liked it. I bought into it. I think it just came out at a good time. I think I was dying for like good horror, like new good horror. So I think some guys like Hereditary I still think is like one of the most terrifying movies to come out in like a long time.
See, I enjoy that one.
Yeah, but like they came out at like the same time, The Witch and Hereditary.
Yeah, about maybe a year apart, maybe.
A year apart, like yeah. But then it was like the birth of like these new directors, like Ari Aster and Eggers, and now they're just every movie they make, people are like, can't wait to see, you know.
Like Midsummer was all right.
It was okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I wasn't blown away. Yeah, it was okay. I thought Lighthouse was pretty good. I liked Lighthouse. Beau is Afraid. Did you guys see that crazy movie?
Which one?
Beau is Afraid with Joaquin Phoenix. So it was Ari Aster who did Hereditary. He did this movie called Beau is Afraid, and it's like so absurd, so insane.
How long ago did this come out?
Probably last year.
Last year,
yeah, okay, for sure, last year.
And Joaquin Phoenix do that shit though, man. Like that time he acted like he quitted acting, so he made that movie with Casey Affleck. Yeah, like yeah,
that was funny. Yeah. He didn't quit acting. You're still acting. Not excited about the Joker, to be honest. I wasn't even excited about the other one, really. So the fact that we're getting a new one is like, who cares?
I wasn't a super fan of the first one either. I mean, it was neat for what it was going for, but like when they're like, it's gonna be a sequel and it's gonna be a musical, I'm just
musical. Like, to me, a musical is like that's like torturous. To be honest, I can't.
I could be into it, but it'd have to be under like certain circumstances. Cause like I had girlfriends and stuff. I kind of like saw a lot of musical theater in my younger.
I think if you see musical theater, it's different in person. Different. Yeah. I'm down for that. But I think movies that go musical, I want to like grab my pink axe and like just smash it.
Smash
just
the screen.
Kills me.
I'm with you. I've seen musicals like theater. Like when you go to the theater, whole different experience than watching it on a screen. It's not the same experience at all. Yeah. My butt makes musicals.
I was like, as good as Cats, Sequential Geek. It's got to be at least as good as Cats.
Oh my god, yeah.
The movie, like if you go and see the actual show, like it's still a pretty bad musical, but like it's better than the one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's old, right? It's but like you, I like when I heard about the Joker sequel, I was like, oh, Lady Gaga, okay, whatever, you know, I can live with that. And then they said musical, I was like, oh.
And like it just looks like they reshot a lot of the first one with like the steps. Like I don't care about the steps and dancing on steps. Like I don't, just take that out. That's like waste of time. You know?
Yeah, it's like you already went there. You know, like.
And are you guys like superhero guys? Do you like the superhero stuff, or are you over it?
If it's well done, I mean, I like any movie if it's a well-made movie.
Like I love Madam Web, so like it depends. Like, but like I like Madam Web for certain reasons. I like it because it was awful.
I
loved it because it was so bad. You know,
it looks like a Mystery Science Theater movie, kind of. You know,
it is, dude. Like, it's great, but no, I like a lot of the stuff. I mean, quite a bit of the stuff that Marvel's still putting out. The new Venom movie looks like it might be watchable. I'm definitely, after Madam Web, looking forward to Craven because I've recently kind of become an Aaron Taylor Johnson fan because of Bullet Train and because the Fall Guy. So I hope he just chews the scenery really bad in Craven, kind of like the.
He will, like Bullet Train. Yeah, he's good at that. He's a good actor though. Like aside from like. You know, I think I've seen him in a bunch of stuff where I'm like, oh man, this guy's kind of cool.
He's really shown that he's got a sense of humor about stuff. You know what I mean? And like, he plays the action pretty well. Like when he was a kid with Kick-Ass, like he kind of was pretty good with the comedy, but I think he's actually kind of become like a really good action actor.
No, he's like but even like if it's not action, he gets it and he could like bring a lot to a scene. I saw a movie. It's by Tom Ford. I forget the name of it. It's with Jake Gyllenhaal. But he's in like one scene and he's so good in it. I think he's like a scene stealer.
Yeah. He's it'll be interesting to see how they tie that all together though. The Craven with the rest of the
Like other superhero stuff, like I don't really care about James Gunn's Spider-Man or Superman. Like I've never been a fan of Superman, though, you know what I mean? So like it wouldn't be because James Gunn's making it. Like if like Snides was back doing it again, I'd still be like, I don't care. You know what I mean?
I hope they go with a brighter Superman.
Oh, it's right? Good James Gunn, so he's gonna do.
Yeah, because when I think Superman, I don't think you have Batman. He's the dark, gritty. You don't need to, you don't need Superman to be dark and gritty. You already have Batman. Superman represents hope, light, the good. So his suit has to be more blue. It has to pop. The red has to pop. Yeah, that's Superman. Don't give me the Batman version of Superman. Like I don't need that.
Right. So, I don't like Superman either. But I get what you're saying. Where it needs to be a certain way, and we haven't got it yet. The Christopher Reeves one is like probably more what you're talking about, but like that's like 50 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
But like, my favorite comic book thing that's come out recently, Dead Boy Detectives, but that's not really superhero. That was really good. Marvel's hasn't really their TV shows have not like landed with me at all, really. I liked She-Hulk and I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier and What If, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think the Wolverine and Deadpool will be probably cool. I didn't really love either of the Deadpool movies, so like I'm not like excited so much for that, but I think Hugh Jackman is always fun. I don't know,
I'm a little worried though.
You're worried?
I'm worried that it's just going to be Easter egg.
You're probably right, though.
Where it's just going to be, there's not going to be any movie. It's just going to be like, look at this character that played Sabretooth.
30 years ago. Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren, who played Punisher back in the early 90s, is in here as Punisher. And I'm sick of these callbacks to like, it's cool once in a while to do a little one, but I mean.
But when you forget how to make a movie and it's just like characters popping up out of nowhere, like I would rather see something more. I always like grounded stuff. Once it starts getting up in the air and flying and too many things, I'm like whatever. But like, I think they have a chance to do some like gritty stuff. I know they're doing that with Daredevil. We'll see. I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, like one of the best comic books that they put out during the Marvel Now era was like a Deadpool book. I think it was the third story arc called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it was actually Wade, Wolverine, and Captain America all had to team up and do this secret mission in Korea together. And like it was really cool because Deadpool got to actually be a real hero and like got to get orders from Captain America. And like since he's at Marvel now, they could have did that story, but instead they're like, no, let's tie it in with the crappy Loki show. And that's kind of why I'm a little like, why did they have to bring the Loki time police people into it? Like,
Deadpool?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're even less inclined to check that out.
I'm fucking out. You just lost me now.
Cloak and Dagger one shot. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger are pretty cool.
Oh, they actually liked their TV show too. Like it only ran 2 seasons, but it was a pretty good little show for like a low budget, like 0 budget made for TV thing.
For which one?
Cloak and Dagger. It was on a show
called CW or something, or
Freeform was the channel.
Freeform. Oh, okay. I've only read them a little bit, and they're like, I think they show up in a Spider-Man story from the 90s. There's like a ton of characters in it. It's like Venom, Carnage. It might be. I don't think it's Maximum Carnage. Maybe it is. Cloak and Dagger might show up in that. That's kind of like my only experience with them though.
So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the superhero movie blockbusters bring us this summer. We'll see if it's a bunch of letdowns or.
Since you're kind of still into superhero stuff, Pat, like this kind of brings me up a question. Like a lot of people are doing like those bootleg superhero books. Like if you were inclined to do one, like what superhero would you kind of do a bootleg take on?
I think we've seen like so much of Spider-Man, and he's probably my favorite Marvel dude, but we've seen so much of Spider-Man. It'd be hard to like carve any new ground out. I think almost even with Miles, they've done a lot with Miles, where they've taken him in different directions. And I think Ghost Rider would be sick. You know, like if I could imagine like a really badass Ghost Rider story where you include like hell and like some darker demons and stuff like that. I think that would be so rad, because I don't know if, like, I think Ghost Rider is they're screwing with him. He's like cosmic or something now, or he's like 4 different characters combined. But he should just be a biker from hell. Like that's so simple.
Yeah,
like you don't need to make him the Punisher and he's from space now and you ruined it. You know, like, I think so. Ghost Rider would be probably really cool. And that's not even a character that I like love. It's just, when I think about all the ones that are out there and what you could kind of do with them, I feel like I could probably do something cool with him, versus if somebody was like, what's your Captain America story? Like, I don't have a good Captain America story, you know?
Oh yeah, you have to like believe in the shit the Cap does to write him good, in my opinion. Like, and I think that's why Brubaker was the last person that literally got the character and wrote him well, in my opinion.
It'd be so hard to do some of them. Some of them would be really tough. Captain America would be probably the hardest. I think, you know, you could get away with some of the other ones, but you'd be able to tell. I think Hulk, they've been doing some rad horror stuff. So I wouldn't want to go there. I think they're already doing it, you know? Yeah, it feels like Ghost Rider would be like totally underutilized badass character that you could do something that's like kind of some stuff from like Sandman, where you go into hell and see all these demons. And I could imagine something very cool with that, you know?
And he's a kind of a really grindhousey character, and you kind of already got that grindhouse style to your writing. So yeah, it'd be really.
I think it'd be rad. Marvel, if I ever get to do something with them, I hope it's Ghost Rider. But you know, my first choice of any like big character, I would love to do Turtles, just because I mean, even like what they're doing now is something that I would have pitched. Not that exactly, but like I saw like Raph is in jail, like Mikey's in Tokyo, like they're all spread out. Like I would have totally done a story where they're past their teenage years, they've gone off on their own, and something's bringing them back together. I love that kind of stuff. So I think TMNT would have been my jam.
So Raph's getting yard hard.
Yeah. Jason Aaron is putting him in jail. It's like, oh, this.
When does that start?
I think it's next month, and the Raph issue drops first. Yeah. Okay. But I like, you know, they're growing up with them now. Finally, you know, like. They just did that 150 issue run from like for 10 years or plus 10 years. And now they're kind of starting them over again, but they're starting them deeper into their story, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because, the last time it started, Raph was amnesiac, right? In the first IDW reboot, which I need to finish, though. I only got like the first omnibus through, but like it's a wonderful take on those.
It's really good. Yeah, they did such a good job with that Turtles run. Like I didn't finish it either. I think I collected like 50 of the issues. But like that's not detriment to the book. It's just like it's hard to collect that many issues of anything, you know, and like where do I put it all, you know? That's why I like the graphic novels now. It feels like it saves space or something. And my collection is so just like overflowing that like I end up having to give a lot away or sell a lot of stuff because, you know, it's like new stuff rises to the top of what I want to keep.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you just made me interested in Jason Aaron's Ninja Turtles. Like, I'm actually happy that he is not writing at Marvel anymore because, like, I was a huge fan of his, and like I can't wait to see.
He's done some awesome stuff in the past, right? Didn't Jason Aaron do Scalped?
Yeah, that is that he did Scalped. The other side,
Scalped is awesome.
So
I feel like Scalped is a book that. How is that not an HBO show that was like The Sopranos and The Wire and stuff like that? Like,
it was optioned. They made a pilot and it never aired. Like the pilot was not liked. It was going to be on I forget what channel it was. It was like a weird one that was only around for a little while.
What was the lead character's name? Bad Horse, I think.
Yeah, Dash Bad Horse.
Yeah, man, Scalped is a good book. I want to dig that up because that was like that he was nailing that. That was really
it's good. One of the best crime drama noir books out there. Like it's rival. The only thing that's better than it is another Vertigo book, 100 Bullets by
100 Bullets. Yeah, Jason Azzarello, right?
Azzarello and Rizzo. Yeah. Oh my god.
Azzarello and Rizzo. Sometimes Santi has when he goes heavy on inks, his pages remind me of Rizzo. There's a page with Harry when he headbutts the TV and he's kind of just like sitting on the toilet, like bleeding out of his head. And it's totally like a Rizzo vibe, like very noir style. I remember thinking that when he said that to me, I thought that was really cool. I think I could probably show it right here. Yeah, I thought this stuff was, the heavy inks is Rizzo. And Santi doesn't do that a lot in the book where he goes too hard on the inks. I think a lot of his pages are like kind of outlines and backgrounds and details, but sometimes he'll give you some like heavy inks. And I really like those pages. That party scene has a lot of heavy inks, but man. This book is sick. I hope people check it out.
Yeah.
So just remind people it's in the Diamond Solicits this month.
Yeah, you have a couple days to order still. I think you can order. I think final order cutoff is the 24th. So you still have time to tell your comic shops that you want Popscars.
And then usually the FOC is usually a month later. So it'll probably be July, around this time in July will probably be the FOC as well.
Really?
Yeah, because you have two. You have shops have to get their whole orders in, and then I think a month before they can adjust their orders. But they have to get their orders in so that Diamond and all the printers know, like the print run. And then I think then they can adjust, like shops can adjust, like if they want more or less of a certain comic. So
I'm kind of waiting to hear what the print run is, because then I've been getting the files ready, and I think we're like pretty good to go though. I just waiting for that number and kind of getting them shipped out, and I'm going to get a bunch shipped to me. So I'll have signed copies that I can sell. I have to get a website going. I think Godhood Comics will be kind of where I'm going to base out of for a bit, with Popscars at least, but I just need to get a website, I should have one already. It's just, man, it's so much stuff to do. Like, it's not about, this is what I had kind of an issue with movies as well. Filmmaking is like, you can't just make a good product. You have to be good at like marketing and all this other business stuff that has nothing to do with being creative. So it's very much like two totally separate like personalities that you have to develop that deal with this stuff. I don't like the business stuff as much, but I'm like learning about it more, the printing and there's so much stuff you need to know. And I guess this, with this first book is like, I'm in the fire. I'm like learning as I go, and it's good, but it's crazy. I wish it was like a scenario where it's like, make a good book and you're good. You could move on to whatever else you have to do, but it's not. You have to you have to chain yourself to it for 5 years and really pitch it and hope that it goes.
That's everything. Like music,
I know,
movies, shows.
I know,
like,
it really is.
If the marketing isn't done well, then it just dies on the vine.
Totally, and like I wish, I see that it's so apparent now, and I've kind of saw that the past couple of years, but when you're younger and you're kind of getting into the creative stuff, that's like the last thing you think of is like, I just need to make this movie. And if I make it, everything's going to change.
Yeah. It'll all work itself out.
Yeah. It's like, where are you putting it? Who's going to watch it? You got rejected to every film festival. Like this is going nowhere, and it's tough because I think that probably a lot of good stuff gets swept under, unfortunately. You got to go the extra mile to get it out. That's why I'm grateful to you guys. You guys have me on. I get to talk about my projects and kind of, otherwise, it's just.
Well, I mean, like,
who knows?
All you got to do is make some posters of Pinky. You know what I mean? Look at this. It sells itself, man. Like, I want to read this damn thing. You just show that to me, and I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Somebody asked me to pitch it, and I was like, oh, I don't like doing this. Like, a pitch. You have 60 seconds to pitch this. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't like to pitch stuff, but I know that's a part of it. You have to be able to get good at it and get quick at it. But I'm just thinking I should just been like, let Pinky do the talking. Just like, here, look at this. It's like, she's badass. She's gonna
check that out.
Yeah.
You want to read this book?
This girl's gonna like blow up Hollywood. You know, like, do you want to check that out? You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, man, so happy that you got the trade out now. I know you've been working at this for a while, and it's nice to see that it's in the solicits. People will be able to grab it come August. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a long time coming.
I know, it really was, and it's so sick. I can't wait for you guys to kind of maybe revisit this and just kind of see how it evolves, and the story kind of gets so twisted. And I really like issue 5 is my favorite issue. I think that was when I got to do one of my favorite gags that I never saw anywhere before, the handprint thing. You know, like, I feel like that's so obvious. How has no one kind of done something like that? So I was like kind of proud that I love like gags, and like that to me is like one of my best ones, is the handprint one. It's just original. It makes movies memorable when you see stuff like when the Joker slams someone's head on a pencil. Like, I'll always remember that, you know. But this, you know, and it's the Hollywood handprints. He's getting drilled into his own handprints. Like, to me, that's just like, I just like, you know, dust my hands and walk away, because that was I felt like I nailed that. That was cool.
Yeah. And the way she does it too, she just drills it down and then breaks the bit and then gets another one and does the other.
Yeah. I was like, how are we actually going to do this? Like, how would she actually do this if she had to do it? And Santi like killed it, man. I didn't know what to expect with that double splash, but it hits you. I think it hits, you know. Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite parts of the book is that
the driller killer sequence. Yeah, man.
Yeah, the driller killer sequence. That last page you showed, I snuck in my sister's birthday in the cement.
Okay.
October 19th, 1991. I snuck in like little things. There's like tiny little Easter eggs for me, or for like my family or friends who might catch it, you know, little ones.
But yeah, man, like Popscars, like I can't recommend it highly enough. It hits kind of like a sleazier version of Ed Brubaker's Criminal, because like that book, nobody's clean and everybody gets punished pretty much. That's kind of where I'll put Popscars, but like add a healthy dose of slasher horror as well. You know what I mean? And some fun sharp shit. I mean, like this book, it bends some genres. I'm not trying to pigeonhole it, but like for people that need to kind of know what a book's about, that's kind of my easiest way to explain it to you, man. Expect that kind of brutality, and but also it's got some really funny parts too. You know what I mean? Like
I hope it was like dark funny. I like when it's like dark funny, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is coming out in trade. You need this book on your shelf. So definitely get this book.
It's just a gory soap opera. You know, they tried to make the goriest soap opera of all time.
So
now, I think I do want to talk to you guys about the next stuff when it's ready and it's kind of happening. I think you guys will be into where it's going and the characters that kind of take the reins on some stuff, and the designs. Oh man, I have 2 covers that I've just been sitting on, and they're so cool. And one is by Luana Vecchio, who does Lovesick for Image. She did a cover for me that is so sick, and I
can't wait to see it. I love Luana's work, man.
Yeah, she helped me with this new character, and it's just such a sick cover. It's so rad.
She's a scary one herself, man. The shit she puts out, damn.
Yeah, it's hardcore kind of craziness. Lovesick is hardcore.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad.
Lovesick would have been a kind of a cool crossover with Pinky. Like Pinky shows up in.
Oh, totally. I think she's playing with a lot of the same like chess pieces as I am at times. You know, I think she's doing her own thing. But if I was to put Popscars in a batch of similar books, I would hope that I think Lovesick kind of fits.
It would be neat to maybe like have Pinky kill a couple blood cells, her run into and then just cross over that way. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
That would be sick. It really would. I pitched Popscars to Image, but sadly, I guess not sadly. Like I'm still happy to be putting it out myself. with Godhood.
They would have put it out 5 years ago, man. They're the toy factory now. I'm kind of happy for where they're at. I'm kind of sad for where they're at as an Image fan, but whatever, man. They're making that bag like they always wanted to off of that Hasbro shit.
Oh, yeah, at Skybound, yeah.
I just picked up an Image book. I haven't been able to hit a comic shop in a while. I picked up that Jerry Dugan book, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. The cover looked pretty rad. It was like a gunslinger and like a samurai. That, I don't know if you guys caught this. It also has like a Star Wars vibe to it, the main cover. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this book looks like it has something to it. I haven't read it yet, but it looks very cool.
When did it come out?
Like this month. I think it dropped like maybe a week or two ago.
I'll have to look for it. No, I haven't, but I like Gary's work. Like, he wrote that Deadpool book that I was talking about that they should have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him and Brian Fosane. When they were co-writing Deadpool together during Marvel Now, really, really good run. If you don't want to check out Deadpool and you want to read it, kind of a more serious take on him, where he's not just so slapstick. Yeah, the Gary Dugan, Brian Fosane run is really, really aces.
I think they're going to use. I think Lady Deadpool is in the new movie, and I think she kind of looks like Pinky. I didn't even know about Lady Deadpool when I made Pinky.
Gwenpool?
What is it?
Gwenpool.
Gwenpool?
Yeah.
There's a version named Lady Deadpool though that looks like way more like Pinky than Gwenpool. Yeah, she like has like the mask with the kind of ponytail coming out. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see that, and maybe I'll be annoyed by that, or maybe I'll be like, oh look, like you could have a hardcore version of it over here, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? That movie's gonna be. I don't know.
It'll be
I'm out now that Johnny said that it has to do with the Loki and the Time Police, and I'm done. I'm not even. I don't know. Fuck it.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah. So, man, thanks for showing up and talking with us about the Popscars. We've been following it since pretty much the beginning.
Yeah, you guys have. I appreciate you guys having me back on. I know we always planned about like getting back on and kind of talking about it a bit more spoilery, you know, which we kind of did.
Well, next time we'll be able to.
Yeah,
the trade will be out. It'll give more people the opportunity to read it.
That end is too good to spoil, man. Like I
know. Yeah, you kind of want to get hit with it, you know. Anyway, thank you guys for having me on. I love talking to you guys. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back because you'll have more stuff down the pipeline. Your
New
parkour book will be out. You'll probably be able to announce when the next chapter of your Popscars will be out.
Malignant will be down the pipeline. I can't wait to show you guys some of that. That looks, man, the art is just so good for that. So yeah, you know, I'm trying to keep expanding, keep putting stuff out. But man, after doing this, I realized you got to be very picky and choosy about what you're going to invest in, because the investment is not only just money, but it's years of your life that you gotta love the project. Luckily, Popscars is like my favorite thing I've done, so I still have that like day one passion for it. But I think that's what I'm looking for, is what stories can I stick with for a long time and be like psyched about, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, awesome. So just to remind people, Popscars Volume 1. It's under Godhood Comics in the Diamond Solicits. So you can go pre-order that now from your comic shops, and it'll be dropping on August 7th in comic shops everywhere. Yeah.
And it'll make you more afraid of thumbtacks than you already were.
Thumbtacks, yeah. That's actually, I got a thumbtack tattoo on my.
Oh, there you go.
When drugs are such like a cool part of stories, especially like gritty, like street stories. And like, I was trying to think of something like heroin with needles, but not that. Something visually different, you know. And there was this. I don't know how this connected, but there was this kid on my school bus when I was like a little kid, and it was like, you know, the thumbtacks that wrestlers use, those like little silver ones.
Yeah.
he like looked me in the eyes and he like stabbed himself in the arm with it. I was like, what the fuck? You know, it's like 4th grade. But yeah, that stuck with me. And like when I was trying to think of a new drug, like thumbtacks popped into my mind, and those ones are so iconic. The little push pin ones, they're, you know, you've seen them everywhere. I love seeing something used in a new way that you're so used to seeing, you know, like that's why I like the household weapons kind of thing, is you could like transform stuff. Oh, here's a refrigerator that you've seen 100 times, but how do you use it to kill someone, you know, or whatever it is. So that the tax was kind of like my thing that I wanted to kind of twist on you, make you kind of cringe over. They show up a lot more. The tax are a huge part of what happens to Hollywood. I kind of think of, you guys know like Pulp Fiction, you know, like when Marcellus Wallace is like, he has the shotgun and he's like, I'm going to go medieval on your ass.
Yeah.
You know that part?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go medieval on Hollywood, but I have to get there. I have to earn it. So it's like a slowly going to just get more medieval on Hollywood's ass. But like what's in store is so crazy. It's so fun. And just like, it pushes it is what I hope and think, you know.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the parkour, Malignant. Looking forward to all the stuff you have coming out, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me on and supporting this book. I really appreciate it. Yeah, love this thing.
Always, man. Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Back whenever you want. So, Joe, what are we doing on Saturday, man?
Saturday? This Saturday, I don't think we have anything.
We don't, do we?
Nope. It goes to Monday.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have
Pidge.
Yeah, it's going to be an early afternoon show. We're going to have Pidge, a writer of Infinite Wheat Paste, on to talk with us. That should be groovy. It's going to be a short one, about a half hour long. So yeah, check us then. Until next time, it takes all kinds, I suppose.